All right. Good morning, everybody. Early morning crypto talk. Bitcoin Brandon here on this Friday. Guys, excited about Friday? Thank God it's Friday. Well, if you're in the crypto world, how about every day is Friday? That's what I like. Every day's Friday. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're logging in from or listening in from. I see Mafus from Maryland. Stan Williams from Tampa, Florida. Bethany Gibbs from Seattle. Moshe Frazier. You guys have good plans for this weekend? What's going on? Nicholas from Sweden. Gerald Gardner. That's right, Mafus. Every day is a Friday. I see Latifa from Delaware. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, share my opinion, give suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get a return on investment back as fast as possible. Should be a given, right? Rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Make a decision, stay focused, and do not get distracted. There's so many things out there that can distract you in this space. You cannot be part of everything. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right. Let me get the screen sharing on. Turn on my Bluetooth. And we should be ready to go. I think almost there. So you should be able to see my screen now. We're going to start with international news first. You got to know what's going on with the rest of the world. We live in a much smaller world now. The internet has brought everybody together. So what happens international in one area can affect all of us. So it's important that we pay attention to what's going on around the world, and Russia, especially Russia and China. So let me put this link in the chat box for those that want to follow along. All right, crypto fever is diminishing, claims Russian central bank head. Elvira Nabiullina, the chairwoman of Russia's central bank, believes that excitement towards cryptocurrencies is waning. The famous economist, who last year was voted as Europe's Central Banker of the Year, spoke in the annual Finopolis Innovation Forum held in Sochi, reports a major Russian news agency. The former economic advisor of Vladimir Putin claimed that we are holding the Finopolis Forum for the fourth time. Earlier, this event used to witness a cryptocurrency fever everywhere, but now it is visibly beginning to disappear. Back in old times, technologies like blockchain caused a great deal of enthusiasm, but in our opinion, now a more sober attitude towards such technologies has begun. I gotta say and think, who is this coming from? The chairwoman of Russia's central bank. Now, a bank is a bank, whether it's Russia, United States, Europe, Asia. The banks do not like crypto. Vladimir Putin had to order the central bank to stay out of the way of crypto development. He had to order them to. So always remember the source as well. So she's saying, yeah, enthusiasm is beginning to sober. However, it seems that the prominent banker favors the distributed ledger technology. Oh, but they love the blockchain. You guys should know by now, you won't hear a banker call it the blockchain. They say distributed ledger technology. It's the same thing. It's a play on words so that the uneducated people don't know the difference, but it is the same thing. So she praises the local businesses who are trying to implement in their operations and find real-world use cases. Curiously, in contrast to many of her counterparts, she has acknowledged ICOs as a good way for blockchain startups to raise funds. However, Nabiullina mentioned that the majority of crypto projects that came about as a result of the first ICO wave were either fraudulent or failed to accomplish their overly ambitious goals. I agree with that. The Library of Congress states that currently only qualified investors are allowed to participate in ICOs, although there are exceptions by RCB. Tokens are not classified as legal tender and thus cannot be exchanged for rubles or other currency. The head of RCB also claimed that there is now a difference in the perception of digital finance compared to just a few years ago. According to her, digital technologies are becoming a regular part of the modern world. Digital finance is no longer the world of the advanced consumer. It is the world of the mass consumer. She's right. Back in 2017, Nabiullina was far more bearish on virtual currencies, labeling them money surrogates, which will not be featured on Russian exchanges. She has also compared the last year's surge of cryptocurrencies to gold fever, saying that she is categorically against regulating digital assets or equating them to foreign currencies. Russia has been notoriously tough on its crypto aficionados, with even Vladimir Putin commenting that RCB defines cryptocurrency as having no backing, which is why it cannot be used for payments or as a store of value. However, the Russian president has also acknowledged that crypto could be used to sidestep the ever-increasing Western sanctions, highlighting a need to study them to know how we can use it in order to avoid any restrictions in the field of international financial activity. Now, I have not covered Russia lately, so those of you that is just tuning in and hearing me, and you haven't listened to my previous recordings on Russia, there is an orchestrated event, an organized event between Iran, China, and Russia to have what they call the Euro-Asia Pacific Pact, where it's a group of companies, a group of countries. And we aren't ready for that part yet, but a group of countries that are banning to work together for international trade without having to use the United States, therefore, without needing to use the US dollar to be able to buy and trade sales and goods off the petrodollar. And they want to create their own currency to do these trades with. Now, why would these countries want to do this? Well, what is a major strength of the United States besides our military? It's the fact that the dollar is the world's reserve currency. Who controls the dollar? The United States. So if a country is not doing what we want them to do, we can cut aid. We can put sanctions on them and freeze all their accounts. There's a number of economic things we can do. This is what we call America. We call it diplomacy. The rest of the world, they don't call that diplomacy. You want to know different words they have for that? Bribery, extortion. What's the other word? When some blackmail. Yeah, that's a term that they use. Because it is always in the United States' benefit, not necessarily in their benefit. So they're like this little peon, well, no, we're not a peon country, but this new country, America, this experiment, 242 years, is a blip on the radar screen. We've been here for millennium, and we're ready to take our rightful place in the world back. So we need to marginalize the United States. We need to be able to operate without fear of them putting sanctions on us. And the only way we can see that happening is getting involved in crypto, using Bitcoin. The only catch-22 for this is Russia is communist. China is communist. Iran is what? What's the word that they use? Not totalitarianism, but it's a religious state. It's not a democracy. So how do you bring in a technology that is designed to be decentralized, not controlled by any government or person, and allow your people to have access to that when you are a communist nation? China's trying to walk that fine line. So they're like, okay, we've got to limit our people's access to crypto. At the same time, we need to use it so that we can get underneath the thumb of the United States. But we don't want our people to get under the thumb of us. So they're walking a fine line. The only thing they can't agree on is that the blockchain is the future. They agree on that. But what they want to do is create their own coin, and it's not going to be a cryptocurrency. It's going to be a digital currency. They want to create their own, like the euro, that all of them can agree on, that's going to be backed by gold. You know that Russia has dumped nearly all of its U.S. debt and used that to buy nothing but gold. They're stocking up on gold. So is China, so is Iran. Even Donald Trump the other day said, we need to move back to the gold standard. He knows what's going on. Getting ready, getting prepared for this. So let me continue this. Oh, this article's done. Let's talk about China. Was it China next? Yeah. This isn't a cryptocurrency news, but this is economic news. And this is something we got to pay attention to. Hey, if you guys don't believe any of this, you can always go try your luck by the lotto. Mega Millions jackpot rises to 1 billion. I think the Powerball is almost at 500 million. You could try your luck there. One in, what is it? 1 in 132 million chance of winning. But hey, somebody's got to win, right? Only way you lose, guarantee you don't win, is if you don't play. Anyways, I'm not putting my trust in winning the lottery. China's stock market is getting pummeled, and history shows that is bad news for U.S. markets. Let's pay attention. U.S. stocks are lower about 70% of the time in periods when there are big drops of 10% or more in Shanghai stocks, according to analytics firm Kinsho. The main U.S. indexes lose about 5% when Shanghai stocks fall 10% or more in a 30-day period. Big blue chips like Goldman and Caterpillar are among the losers, but copper and oil also fall hard when Shanghai sees a big decline. When China's stock market falls sharply, there's a good chance U.S. stocks and some big blue chips, names like Goldman Sachs and Caterpillar, go down with it. The Shanghai Composite Index plunged 2.9% Tuesday, sending negative ripples throughout world markets. China stocks are now down 12% in August and 26% over the last 12 months. But U.S. investors feel insulated from China's losses. Why? Why wouldn't they? With the S&P up 4.5% this year, while Shanghai is down 25%. But a study by CNBC using analytics tool Kinsho found that U.S. stocks are more often weaker when the declines in Chinese stocks are large. Over the past 10 years, when Shanghai stocks fell 10% or more in a 30-day period, the U.S. stock market was up only about 30% of the time, and the U.S. indexes all averaged significant declines. For instance, the S&P 500 on average fell 4.8% when China was down 10% or more, and the NASDAQ was even worse, with a loss of 5.3%. When it comes to individual stocks, Goldman Sachs stock lost 10.6% on average over the 30-day periods and was higher only 18% of the time. Caterpillar revenues are closely tied to China, and it was down 7.9% on average in those periods, with gains only 20% of the time. DuPont lost 9.3% on average and was higher just 17% of the time. Caterpillar helped lead the Dow lower on Thursday, falling more than 3%. Among the sectors, stock of companies that produce commodities and materials were down 84% of the time when China shares fell hard. The SDPR Materials Select sector lost 7.8% on average. The XLF, the Financial Select sector, lost on average 6.4% and was up 31% of the time. Energy stocks, represented by the Energy Select sector, lost an average 7% and were lower 20% of the time. As Shanghai stocks went down, so did basic commodities like copper, off 8.3%, oil off 8.5% in the 30-day period. Crude oil was down 70% of the time when Chinese shares toppled, and copper was down 78% of the time. Safe havens, however, averaged gains, and gold rose by 0.6%, while the dollar index was up 1.5%. Both were higher more than half the time. Now, you can't lie or you can't argue statistics. Facts are facts. That's just how it is. But there's that percentage that it doesn't fall. So with the U.S. market right now is roaring and the Chinese market's down 12%, well, we're falling in that 30% of the time where it is not true. But we're going to have to wait and see. Is this the calm before the storm, so to speak? All right. Let's go to Bill Gates. And things are moving very, very fast with this. It wasn't too long ago, Bill Gates and his good old buddy Warren Buffett was bashing crypto coins. But now here's the second article I'm reading about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation partnering up with a company in Ripple. So partnered with Ripple and Coil to create pro-poor payments infrastructure. What are they up to? What are they trying to do? What are they preparing for? How do you go from calling Bitcoin rat poison square, you agreeing with Warren Buffett, to now you are putting your multi-billion-dollar foundation dead set in the middle of it in just a matter of months? Remember that article I read about rich people? You know, they say one thing publicly to fool all of you, to get all of you to go in one direction while they go in the opposite direction. Never listen to what they say, follow what they do. Now, Bill Gates did say back in 2014 that Bitcoin can't be stopped. And then he reversed course. Why? Because he was preparing for this. So let's read this article. Here's the second Bill Gates article on this in a couple of weeks. The Gates Foundation is to use Ripple's interledger protocol to address issues of financial inclusion in the developing world. We already have that. It's called Bitcoin. We don't need you, Bill Gates, to come in and save the day. It's already here. This is why everybody has a a side eye when it comes to Ripple. Good morning, Lashana. So, the use of blockchain as a tool for doing good has slowly been taking steps toward becoming a tangible reality in recent weeks. As Toshi Ties reported recently, Binance announced that with immediate effect, 100% of its listing fees were to be donated to charity. Now, according to a tweet from the deputy director of the Gates Foundation, Miller Abel, the charity has plans to partner with Ripple and Coil in order to explore creation of what he described as pro-poor payment systems. You got to think of what that actually means. What does that mean? Pro-poor payment systems. That's a code word right there. Miller says we are partnering with Ripple and Coil to implement the interledger protocol and explore ways Moja Loop can support pro-poor payment solutions. So what does, hey, did I just say that? So what does pro-poor actually mean? Well, the Gates Foundation is a huge engine in the global charity sector and is working at tackling some of the biggest problems facing developing countries. It has already made great steps toward its target of wiping out malaria globally, and I respect that. And it has also authored its Moja Loop payment system designed to tackle financial exclusion in developing countries. I have no problem with that either. If you don't have access to the infrastructure so that to gain wealth, you can never be in a situation to have wealth generation. You need to have access to a bank account, to credit, to the ability to invest. So I actually applaud the intent. Okay. And when I say it, I'm saying this in a certain way because I don't trust them. But I applaud the intent, the mission statement. What their real goal is, I don't know. Well, yeah, I have an idea, I just don't share. One of the great obstacles which needs to be overcome in the developing world is the fact that payment infrastructure which is being built is often done by private enterprises, which are local, so-called closed-loop services, and do not interact with each other at a higher level. As a result, these local banks must charge high transaction fees for payments sent between them, limiting the usefulness and inclusion they provide to local people. That is a fact. That is true. Moja Loop is an interledger system which aims at breaking these closed loops by providing a single platform for moving between banks, thereby bringing them all under one loop. Moja being the Swahili word for one. That's true. Ripple, enter Ripple. Meanwhile, is providing its interledger, and that's a term you want to be very familiar with, not the fact it's interledger, but ledger in general. The blockchain is the world's third ledger. The Bitcoin Bootcamp in Philly next week, you're going to hear that. I talk about the first ledger, the second ledger, which the world is currently on, and blockchain being the third ledger. So when you hear words like this pop up, you'll understand what they're talking about. So Ripple is providing its interledger. Now, when you hear inter, that means closed up. That means it is controlled. It is not open source. It is private. A company's running it. So I'm glad they use that word. Interledger. I lost my place. Yeah, Interledger Protocol as the solution under the hood for the vision behind Moja Loop. Coil, which was founded by Ripple's former CTO, Stephen Thomas, is presumably providing its Interledger platform to foster content creation and payment simplification expertise in regions which Moja Loop is aimed at. Ripple's XRP currency was initially designed to facilitate smoother and faster inter-bank transactions. That's why the banks like it. It's not open. They can control this. So this project looks like a perfect fit for their tool. You see that? It doesn't say our tool, their tool. World Bank data shows that around 1.7 billion people globally are underbanked. That's true, meaning they lack access to banking infrastructure and its benefits. These people generally use cash for all of their transactions, limiting the options to use their money they have open to them. Blockchain banking solutions, however, promise to open up a full menu of banking services to people with just an internet connection, potentially changing the lives of millions, as well as allowing significant amounts of new money to flow into the global financial market. There it is right there. I'm surprised I don't have that in small writing. There it is. They just told you what the deal is. Okay, let me break this down. And this is not conspiracy theory, okay? Let me break this down for you. Cryptocurrency by itself, Bitcoin, there's no barrier of entry. It allows every single man, woman, and child on this planet to have equal access to wealth generation when they never had it before. It doesn't matter if you're underbanked or not. Even in the United States, most people have access to a bank account. Yes, yet more than 70% don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. That's in America. 70% of Americans do not have at least $1,000 in their savings account. The number is even higher for how many can keep $1,000 to $5,000 in their savings account and never touch it for at least 6 months. Okay, so it has nothing to do with, oh, Bill Gates, they want to help those poor people in Africa that don't have access to a bank. I call BS on that. Here's the real deal. The banking world is looking like, dang, we got 2 billion people out there that we're not making fees from. We're not making transaction fees. Obviously, they're spending money amongst each other to survive, but it's not coming through our systems. We got to figure out how we can get our hands on their money. So let's make it easy for them to be able to, as this thing says it, enter the global financial network. We'll call it charity. We'll go through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We're trying to help all them poor people out in Africa and South America. We don't need you. With Bitcoin and the blockchain that is anonymous, not controlled by anybody, decentralized, all you need is have a cell phone, access to the internet, and a willingness to learn. We don't need Ripple. We don't need a bank. We don't need a business. to come in there to save the day. And guess what? Beyond my wildest understanding, even poor people have cell phones. I go down to Skid Row in LA right now. All of them down there got a cell phone. How you figure that? So if you got a cell phone and internet access, all you need now is a willingness to learn. Download you the Bread wallet, order you a BitPay card, get up on some crypto. You can start with $5. I was amazed. It was January this year. I read a story of a day trader who took 2 dimes and flipped 2 dimes into over $800,000 in less than 10 months in 2017. What? How did he do that? Well, I can't let you go without telling you exactly how he did it. I kind of did the same thing, where I flipped $30 into 6 figures in 4 months. So how did he do it? Well, he took those 2 dimes and he bought a coin that was dirt cheap. We're talking less than half a penny in an ICO. The first, he did an ICO. He then told some people about the ICO. He took advantage of the affiliate side. What happened was the people who told when they bought coins, the business, the company doing the ICO gave him bonus coins for sharing it with others. He started with 2 dimes. Okay. Then what he did, when it hit the exchange, it hit one of the smaller exchanges first. And it went from like half a penny to it hit the exchange at half a cent. Now you might think, well, half a penny, that's not compared to what he bought it was. He had a whole bunch of coins. Then it went from that small exchange onto, I think it was Bittrex. It only took a month. It goes on Bittrex. Next thing you know, the coin went all the way up to $5, $10 a coin. He got it when it was like half a penny. He cashed out. He had almost $1,000. Took that, put it in another ICO before it came out. Flipped that $1,000 into almost 15K. He took that 15K and invested in another coin that was out of ICO phase, but nobody knew about it yet. That 15K, he flipped into almost $70,000. Do you see the pattern here? He took that 75K, took $25,000 out for profit. So he took $50,000 now and invested $50,000 in another project. And it was something big. Want to know what that project was? It was Electronium. He put $50K in. You see where I'm going here? He cashed out in January, right at the beginning of January, when Electronium was above 20 cents a coin. 800K. He started with 2 dimes at the beginning of 2017. You just have to know what to do. Heck, we got Bethany on here. Bethany flipped her knowledge into crypto coins, flipped those crypto coins into GreenX machines. Those GreenX machines is going to flip her into 6 figures. Once you've got the education, you know what to do with it. Even Bouger was telling me, like, she's like, give me $1 million and I could flip that into $1 billion. Yep. If you know what you're doing. That is why education is the key. It's so important. But back to the topic of this article is why I don't trust Ripple. Only because it is a system that's being used by those already in power to come into the crypto space and maintain power. But Brandon, isn't it good that they want to help the poor? I didn't say it wasn't good. I'm saying that it's the old guard finding a new way to stay on top. I'm not knocking their game or knocking their hustle at all, because I'm investing in Ripple. I'm gonna make a bunch of money off of it. But for me, I'm looking bigger than just making money. I'm looking at how many people can I help at the same time? How can we break the system of control? I am about freedom. What good is making a whole lot of money if you're still a slave? I am about freedom. I purchased my freedom in 2012 from a 9-to-5 job. I have no boss, nobody I need to answer to, nobody that tells me what to do. I wake up when I'm finished sleeping. I come and go as I please. I can go on a 6-month vacation and still make the same amount of money as I'm doing now. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. And there's consequences if I don't. But then the next level is complete financial freedom on top of that. The resources. I want to have the resources that I can help others get to that level as well, not just live the life myself. Read that book by Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. Study that book. If there's any people that ask, well, what's the one book I should read if I want to be, I want to learn how to have financial freedom and stuff. You hear Robert Kiyosaki, you hear Napoleon Hill and Les Brown and all that. If there's one book that you can study and that's it, I even had got that from Holton Buggs when he said this years ago. Everywhere he travels is with The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. I even read the book and recorded myself. It's on YouTube, every chapter. For those of you who don't like to read, just type in on YouTube and my name, The Science of Getting Rich, and the book's there. Anyways, I'm going off tangent here. All right, good for Ripple. I expect to see Ripple have a price bump. If I look at coin market cap, let's see, last night it was flat. Today it is still flat. A little on the upside though. Stellar, Litecoin, Tether, Cardano, Monero. Look at this now. Tether now back at 98 cents. What was it just 4 days ago? They said the death of Tether because it was at 92, 93 cents. It did what it's supposed to do. Now it's back up to 98 cents. Almost paired 1-to-1 with the US dollar. All they did was pull out profit. They pulled out 300 million of profit. That's what they're supposed to do. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. People that don't understand it freaking out. But it's pretty much flatline right now. Ripple is at 45 cents. Now, here's the exciting thing. If Ripple's at 45 cents, if we click on this and look at its history, let's go back. January of 2018. It got to $3.65. $3.65. Let's look at when it began. January 2014. It was at less than half a penny. So I want you to think about that for a second. Less than half a penny. What if you had put, all right, I hate to do this math stuff, but let's just see if I can get it right, even with the calculator. Let's say you put $1,000 on Ripple times 0.004 cents. Did I do that right? That's not for Ripple. Why am I not doing that right? $1,000 times 0.004. How many ripples should that give me? What am I doing wrong, you people that understand math? That comes out to $4 right there, but that's not right. I'm not even going to do that. You do the math. I'm going to tell you. $1,000 times 0.004 cents gives you how many Ripple coins? And then you take that number of Ripple coins and say, how much is that worth at $3? $3.65. Wow. That is freaking, that's how people become millionaires. Almost overnight. Just like that. Green X. What if you had, okay, I'm going to play with some numbers here. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. And I'm only doing a what if scenario. This is no guarantee. This is not a representation of what Green X is actually doing or claims to be doing. I just want to play with some numbers. Let's say you have 1.5 million coins. All right. You have 1.5 million coins and you multiply that times 1 cent. That's $15,000. What if your machine was doing 1.5 million coins a month? At 1 cent, $15,000. But what happens if it follows what happened with Ripple? And why do I use Ripple? I want to go back. I want to show you an example. This is why it's good to know this chart. Ripple has 39 billion coins that will be in existence. Green has 50 billion coins. So people thinking it's going to be like Bitcoin and get to the thousands, it's not possible because there's only 17 million is circulating for Bitcoin. We're talking about billions here. So it's not going to be like Bitcoin. It's going to be like a Ripple or let me look at another 25 billion Cardano, or this one here, Tron, even more closely related to Tron at 65 billion coins. And look at Tron is at right now 2 cents, 0.024 cents. Let's say it does go to 2 cents. Okay. Well, that's doubles. Now that's $30,000. What if you had 1.5 million coins and it went to 10 cents? That's 150,000. What if it followed Ripple? Ripple got up to $3.65. Okay. You had 1.5 million coins times $3.60. 5.4 million a month. And before you pass out, this is crypto. This is not coffee. This is not juice. This is not skincare. This is not health and wellness. This is crypto. The market is 10 times larger than any of those other companies in their industry. This is how you become millionaires and billionaires. You're investing in the beginning. You're investing in the beginning. Thank you. I did that number. Thank you, Jamarj. I was multiplying when I should have been dividing. But anyways, will Green do this? I don't know. Here's my personal opinion when it comes to Green. All of these coins represent a real world product, doing something in the real world. Okay, like Ripple, that's designed for the banks to do inter-banking with their interledger. You got Ethereum that's designed to create smart contracts that allows for businesses to be on the blockchain and have instantaneous transactions. Almost kind of can compete with Ripple, but they work together. Bitcoin Cash is just a split off from Bitcoin. You know, you look at Monero is trying to be the Bitcoin, but more anonymous security features. Tron's being used by the porn industry for anonymity, for intertransactions. They have their own smart contract system. Every coin And you want to know, if you want to know what they do, click on the coin and then click on websites. For example, let's say Litecoin. What everybody calling me right now? And then you click on website. Dr. Lewis always calls me when I'm doing a live. It never fails. I'll call him back in a second. Anyways, so you can find out, you can click on what is Litecoin all about, and you can read what they're about. And most of these coins in the top 100, they're going to disappear because they don't have any real world use. But green is talking about completely changing and transforming the power industry, electricity. Think about that. That is not a luxury. That is a necessity. And if they pull off 10% of what they say they can pull off, that is real world value to it. That means that sucker's going to explode. The coin is going to be like Ripple. If this coin market cap, remember last night I said, this is the number you want to watch. When Ripple hit $3.60 something cents, this market cap was over $800 billion. What happens is all of these coins rise with the tide. Like even, let's look at Ethereum. During that same period, and I still don't get, people have a hard time grasping this. See this time here? This is when Ripple was worth $3.63. Ethereum was worth $1,377. Let's look at Bitcoin Cash during the same time period. Right now it's at $441. But when Ripple was worth $3.63, Bitcoin Cash got up to $4,000 a coin. But this is the volume. See, there was much more volume in the system at this time. Let me show you one more. You got to learn, understand, follow the patterns. Let's even look at Stellar. Right now it's at 24 cents. Look at the height. Look at the spike. Same time, Ripple was at $3.63. Come on. Stellar was at 70 cents. 70 cents. Right now it's 24 cents. When Stellar first got started, it was worth 0.002 cents. That's where green is right now. So if you get your green machine and it's mining coins and you hold a significant portion of it, you don't lose your mind when you see it going to 2 to 3 cents. And this market cap jumps, which it will in 2019. You see it going back to a trillion, close to $1 trillion mark, then you're going to see the green coin can rise up close to $1, $2 per coin. Are you kidding me? So you might have thought you made it off good because you sold at 5 cents. But what if you sold at $1? Anyways, I'll be doing private trainings with paid members only and my team and our private group to strategize on this. But that is why we're so excited about the Green Project and why it is going to transform some people's lives. And I have another prediction to make. There's going to be some people in the green that's going to be they're going to screw the whole thing up. They're going to screw it up. Why? Lack of education. They're going to sell when they shouldn't. They might buy when they shouldn't. They might hold for too long. You know, it's going to happen. But some of you there's going to be people that have less coins than others and make more money than people that have more coins because they know what to do with it. And also in 2016, I'm going to get my Series 6.5, myself, Rob Harris, Jairus Coleman, so that I can be a licensed financial advisor. And when I start giving financial advice, you're going to have to pay for it. So I'm saying ain't nothing for free. You're going to have to pay for that. But for our KGX members, they get You're going to get some free stuff. All right, everybody. I hope you learned something new. Kind of went off on a tangent there. But I'm going to, I know Diana will be in town here Sunday. I'll sing with her. I'm going to make sure she understands how to read this chart. And when I'm in Philly, I'll have some people privately. I can teach them some things on this. Anyways, I look forward to seeing those of you in Philly a week from today. I'll be there actually next Thursday. See you then. You guys have a great day. I will not be here for late night crypto talk tonight, but I will be back tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye.